Hello all, this is Dr. Vibhash Kumar Ved, and today in this video we're going to discuss about the gross anatomy of cerebellum. So let's begin the topic. So here you can see this is a specimen of the cerebellum. This cerebellum is also known as a small brain. The cerebellum lies in posterior cranial fossa. Here you can see this is the skull, and the interior part of the skull is known as the brain box or cranial fossa. As you can see, most anteriorly this is the anterior cranial fossa, then after the anterior cranial fossa this is the middle cranial fossa, and most deeper part is known as the posterior cranial fossa. So over this posterior cranial fossa this cerebellum lies. In an adult, the weight of the cerebellum is about 150 gram. This is about 10% of the weight of the cerebral hemisphere. Like the cerebrum, the cerebellum has a superficial layer of the grey matter. You can see here the cerebellum has a superficial layer of the grey matter. The cerebellum lies behind the pons and the medulla. It is separated from the cerebrum by a fold of dura mater called the tentorium cerebelli. Anteriorly, the fourth ventricle intervenes between the cerebellum behind and the pons and medulla in front. The cerebellum is concerned with the coordination of the somatic motor function, maintenance of the equilibrium, and maintenance of the muscle tone. So these three are the basic main function of the cerebellum. Now we'll discuss about the external features of the cerebellum. So first we'll see the parts of the cerebellum. So here you can see this is the cerebellum. Now the cerebellum consists of the part lying near the midline called the vermis. So here we can see this is the vermis. So here you can see this is the vermis which lies in the midline, and either side of the vermis this part of the cerebellum is known as the hemisphere. So these two are the lateral hemisphere, right and the left lateral hemisphere. Now we'll see the surfaces of the cerebellum. So it has two surfaces. One is the superior surface and another is a inferior surface. So here we can see this is the inferior surface of the cerebellum and this is the superior surface of the cerebellum. On the superior aspect, the vermis merge with the hemisphere. You can see here this is the superior surface, and on the superior surface this vermis merge with the lateral hemisphere, while on the inferior aspect, so here you can see this is the inferior aspect or surface of the cerebellum. Over this inferior aspect, the two hemispheres are separated by a deep depression. Here you can see this two cerebral hemisphere is separated by this deep depression, and this depression is called the vallecula. So here we can see this is the vallecula. The vermis lies in the depth of the depression. Here you can see on the depth of the depression we can observe this is the vermis. On the each side the vermis is separated from the corresponding cerebral hemisphere by the paramedian sulcus. Here we can see this is the paramedian sulcus which separate on the each side of the cerebral hemisphere. Now the fissure and the lobes of the cerebellum. So first, the surface of the cerebellum is marked by a series of fissures. You can observe over here the surface of the cerebellum is separated by a series of the fissures which runs more or less parallel to one another. Here you can see these are the series of the fissures which runs more or less parallel to one another. The fissures subdivide the surface of the cerebellum into narrow leaf-like band or folia. So here we can see this fissure which separate on the surface of the cerebellum is narrow leaf-like part or folium. So this is the folia. Some of the fissures on the surface of the cerebellum are deeper than others, and this fissure divide the cerebellum into lobes within the smaller lobules. So the deepest fissure in the cerebellum are first the primary fissure. Here you can see this is the primary fissure, and this primary fissure is also known as fissura prima. So here on the both side you can see this is the primary fissure, which is also known as the fissura prima, and this primary fissure running transversely across the superior surface. We can see this primary fissure running transversely across the superior surface of the cerebellum. The another fissure we can see the posterolateral fissure. Here we can see this is the posterolateral fissure on the both side, and this posterolateral fissure seen on the inferior aspect. Then the horizontal fissure. Here we can see this fissure is known as the horizontal fissure, and this horizontal fissure which divide the cerebellum into upper and the lower half. Here we can see above this horizontal fissure, this part of the cerebellum is known as the upper half of the cerebellum, and below this horizontal fissure, this part of the cerebellum is known as the lower half of the cerebellum. This primary and this posterolateral fissure of the cerebellum which divide the cerebellum into three lobes. The part anterior to the primary fissure, here this part, and this part is known as the anterior lobe, and the part between two fissure, this primary fissure and this posterolateral fissure, this part of the cerebellum is known as the posterior lobe, and this posterior lobe also called as the middle lobe because of its intermediate position in an open cut cerebellum. The posterior lobe extend on the both superior and the inferior surface. So below this posterolateral part, this part of the cerebellum is known as the posterior lobe, and this lobe extend the superior as well as the inferior surface. The remaining part of the cerebellum, this part is known as the flocconodular lobe, and this flocconodular lobe present on the inferior surface of the cerebellum. So this is the flocconodular lobe. Now the Burmese. So here we can see this is the Burmese, and the Burmese is, and this Burmese is so called because it is resemble like a worm, and it is proceeding from above to downwards. Here we can see it proceeding from this above to downward. This Burmese consists of above to downward the lingula, the central lobule, culmen, and this lingula, central lobule and culmen which present on the anterior lobe, this three part which present on the anterior lobe. Then on the middle lobe, the Burmese consists of declif, folium, tuber, pyramid and the uvula. So on the middle lobe, the Burmese consists of declif, folium, tuber, pyramid and the uvula. Then on the flocconodular lobe, the Burmese has only one part which is known as the nodules. So here we can see this is the nodules. So from above to downward, the Burmese consists of on the anterior lobe the lingula, central lobule and culmen, and on the posterior or middle lobe, this lobe we have the declif, folium, tuber, pyramid and uvula, and on the flocconodular lobe this Burmese consists of only one part which is known as the nodule. So this is the nodules. So this is all about today's demo. I hope all of you understood the topic. Thank you for watching.